And honestly, I think that's a good thing. It forces companies to compete on merit, not who can play the subsidy game better. For NIO, the question becomes, can they prove that their value proposition works without this overarching game of subsidies making value-driven competitors look more price competitive? What's going on, everyone? My name's Obi. Welcome back to Courtside Financial, the channel where we talk about business and technology. Today we need to talk about something that just happened in Shanghai, and by happened, I mean we're still going through it. Picture this, it's 9:27 p.m. on October 10th. Salespeople are clocking out, winding down for the night, and Shanghai's Municipal Commission of Commerce drops what I can only describe as a policy bomb. And I'm not exaggerating, but they triggered what caused a city-wide car buying frenzy that makes Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving when everybody goes shopping, look civilized. Now for Neo Bulls out there, and I know that's most of you that watch this channel, this has major implications. But more broadly, what happened in Shanghai over the last 3-4 days is a masterclass in understanding where the EV market is heading, so buckle up. Here's what happened. Shanghai announced that starting October 13th, which was yesterday, their old for new, I want to make sure I articulate this quickly, car buying program, which gives people a 20,000 Ren subsidy for trading in their old cars and getting a new car, is actually going to be disappearing. The changes that are going to happen is that it's going to be now requiring a lottery. You guys heard that right, essentially a lottery, so you have to win. Before October 13th, yesterday, you could trade your car in and get a 20k Ren subsidy. After October 13th, which is now, you register, enter the lottery, and hope you get the subsidy. And by the way, they're only doing 5 lottery draws between now and January 1st, 2026. No clarity on winning probability, no guarantee that you'll ever see the money. So what did this create? A 50-hour window where people scrambled to get invoiced before the cutoff date. And let me tell you, scramble doesn't even begin to cover it. Let me introduce you to Uncle Fa. This guy's over 50. He owns his 4th or 5th car, so he's no rookie. Back in August, he ordered a BYD Han L. The salesperson tells him in 15 to 20 days you should have your car. Uncle Fa scraps his old vehicle in September, and he's expecting his new car any day now. Weeks go by. Nothing. He's in this weird limbo. No old car, no new car. His daughter keeps calling worried. The salesperson keeps giving him the same story. A few more days. Then October 11th hits. His daughter calls him in panic, warning about changes to the policy. Uncle Fa and his wife literally walk to the dealership because they don't have a car, remember? And this is in 30 degrees Celsius heat. The man shows up, army green shirt soaked with sweat, contract in a document bag, and he's ready to fight. And here's the kicker. Uncle Fa says the government policies encourage consumption and sales are sluggish. I was essentially forced to buy this car because the model I wanted didn't come. That's reality on the ground, folks. Now let's talk about dealerships. I'm literally talking about everyone. I'm talking about NIO, I'm talking about Li Auto, I'm talking about Xpeng, I'm talking about Xiaomi, I'm talking about Hongmeng, Audi, Mercedes, Rowe, Volkswagen. Everyone's in overdrive. One Rowe salesperson tells this story. Customer had been hesitating on buying a Rowe RX-5 Plus. Completely out of stock, but there's a batch of 3 coming. Zhao Yang calls him immediately about the policy. Customer shows up at noon to order and car hasn't even arrived yet. He leaves at 2 to 3 p.m. The truck rolls up and unloads at 5:30 p.m. Next day, invoice issued, full payment done. Zhao Zheng says on the 11th, every model in the store sold out. People weren't just grabbing whatever was available. At Hongmeng Intelligent Driving, one customer took a day off work, showed up with his bank card, and paid for a Shangji H5 on the spot. He'd already ordered one pre-production, but he ditched it, lost his deposit, changed the exterior and interior colors just to get a car that qualified for the invoice deadline. The salesperson ultimately returned his deposit, saying, after all, you bought a car from me. Alright, NIO family, let's get specific because here's where this draws in for us. NIO, because they actually operate a nationwide distribution, they had sufficient supply. They had 800 ET5 Tourings in stock as of the 12th, and that's good news, but the bad news is most were base models. If you wanted the optional 20-inch multi-spoke silver wheels, you had about 10 units to choose from. Start adding preferences for exterior, interior, and other options. Well, good luck finding the config that you actually want. But here's what stood out to me, especially as a Neo bull. Firefly, their more affordable brand, was entirely sold out. One limited edition model left, and that dropped on the evening of the 11th. So what does this tell us, guys? It tells us that price-sensitive consumers are flocking to the lower end of the market when subsidies on the line. Meanwhile, Onvo, Neo's mid-range brand, was running critically low. Most of what remained were display cars. The L90 Max and the Ultra, they only had 3 display units left. The L60, 1 display car and 2 production units. Even the display cars became hot commodities. Volvo was selling their XC70 showroom models at full price, no discount, because demand was insane. Normally those go at a discount, but not this week. Let's zoom out though, because this isn't just about Shanghai either. This is about where the entire Chinese EV market is headed. China allocated 300 Ren in treasury bonds for the 2 new policies subsidizing everything regarding trade-ins from cell phones to car. But here's the thing, that money runs out fast. In the first half of 2025, you could buy electronics and get subsidies directly. Second half, lottery system. One Xiaomi salesperson said they just bought a phone using a colleague's lottery ticket. They had to ask several friends for lottery tickets or lottery spots, and only one of them won. The same thing's happening across China. Jiangsu and Guangdong suspended trade-ins earlier this year. Anhui and Shaanxi went to lottery systems as well. Shanghai held out longer because, quite frankly, they've got economic strength. But even they couldn't sustain it, especially with people from other provinces flooding in to take advantage of Shanghai's economic strength when it comes to these purchases. On September 10th, Shanghai tightened the rules. New vehicles must be registered in Shanghai. 1 month later, full lottery system. Here's the math and why that window of people flocking in to buy these cars at an unprecedented rate mattered so much. Buy a 200,000 Ren EV before October 13th, you get a 15,000 Ren subsidy, nearly full purchase tax exemption, plus a couple additional regional subsidies, meaning that you're probably walking out with that EV at around 180,000 Ren. Buy that same car in 2026, no subsidy, you're paying around 10,000 Ren in purchase tax, so you're probably walking out with that EV at around 210,000 Ren. That's a 30,000 Ren difference. For context, for a lot of us, because we're US viewers, that's about 4,000 to 4,500 US dollars. That's not pocket change, that's real money that makes people sweat through their green t-shirts when walking into these dealerships extremely heated. And here's the psychology: consumers would rather have that cost baked into the purchase price than know that they're paying tax. It's the same reason people hate paying for shipping, even though they'll pay more for a product that's advertised as quote-unquote free shipping. It's irrational, but it's human nature. So what does all this tell us? The subsidy era is ending, period. The Ministry of Industry and Technology made it clear. Purchase tax exemptions for new electric vehicles are getting tightened going into 2026. The training wheels are coming off. Second, we're transitioning from a policy-driven market to a market-driven one. Companies that survived on government subsidies, keeping their policies artificially competitive, they're about to get exposed. This is where product strength actually matters. For Neo specifically, and I'm saying this as someone who's both bullish and invested in Neo, this is both a challenge and opportunity. The challenge, the mass market gets way more price sensitive when subsidies disappear. The opportunity, Neo's been building a brand around premium experience, battery swap infrastructure, and long-term value. When subsidies aren't distorting purchasing decisions, does that value proposition become clearer? Look, I'm optimistic about Neo's future, but I'm also realistic. The Shanghai scramble showed us that Chinese consumers are incredibly price sensitive, price conscious. When there's a 30,000 Ren price difference on the line, people are buying whatever's in stock. They're not waiting for the perfect config, they're not being brand loyal, they're doing the math. And the article I read put it perfectly. This rush to buy cars may serve as a profound reminder that the era of relying on short-term policy dividends for future car purchases will eventually pass, and a return to considering the product itself is needed. So for us investors, whether you're bullish on NIO or you're just watching the broader Chinese market, this is an inflection point. 2026 is going to separate those companies with genuine product market fit from those who were just riding the wave. Uncle Fa will get his car, those salespeople will stop working overtime. Shanghai will calm down, but the market has fundamentally changed. And honestly, I think that's a good thing. It forces companies to compete on merit, not who can play the subsidy game better. For NIO, the question becomes, can they prove that their value proposition works without this overarching game of subsidies making value-driven competitors look more price competitive? I think they can, but we're about to find out. That's it for today's episode. If you guys found this valuable, useful, insightful, at the very least entertaining, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell icon, and leave a comment down below. All your engagement really does go a long way in helping out the channel. This has been Obi with the Courtside Financial Podcast. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.